Hello, how you doing? In this video, I'm going to talk about Pinecone's SDKs. Did you know Pinecone has several different options for integrating to their cloud-based vector database environment? Well, if not, then watch along with me for the next few minutes, and I'll quickly get you up to speed. Okay, let's get started. Pinecone's SDKs enable clients to interact with Pinecone's control and data planes. What is a control plane? Well, the control plane in Pinecone manages the configuration, administration, and orchestration of Pinecone resources such as indexes and collections. After hearing this, you probably have a sense of what the data plane is. The data plane handles the actual vector data operations such as upserts, queries, fetches, deletes, etc. Now let's talk about the SDKs. There are two categories of SDK. The first is Classic, which uses the HTTPS REST communications protocol. The second is gRPC, and as the name implies, uses Google Remote Procedure Call for its network communications. Currently, as of October 2024, Pinecone supports Classic SDKs for the following languages: Python, Node.js, Java, Go, .NET, and Rust. There is more limited language support for the gRPC SDKs. There is a gRPC SDK for Python, and the default Go SDK uses gRPC for the data plane APIs and HTTPS REST for the control plane APIs. Note, Pinecone could add more gRPC SDKs in the future, so check their website documentation for the latest on this before you start a project. So let's compare the Classic and gRPC SDKs a bit more. Here's a breakdown of the key differences. As I mentioned earlier, the Classic SDK communicates with Pinecone's APIs over HTTPS REST. This SDK abstracts a lot of the underlying HTTP communication protocols, making it simple and easy for most developers to use without needing deep knowledge of low-level networking. The Classic SDK, while easy to use, uses HTTP REST protocol, which has some inherent overhead, so the performance is typically lower than gRPC. It is more suited for moderate workloads where ease of use is prioritized over speed. Again, the gRPC SDK, as the name implies, uses gRPC. gRPC is a more performant protocol compared to HTTPS REST, offering lower latency and higher throughput. It's a better choice for high-performance, real-time applications where speed and efficiency are critical. The gRPC SDK is optimized for performance. It's particularly well suited for applications requiring high throughput and low latency vector operations, such as real-time recommendations, search, or AI-driven use cases where there's massive data volumes. Note, if you're going to see high volume workload, it's normally going to translate to a lot of writing, reading, and searching of vectors, which then translates to a high number of data plane API calls. The Classic SDK is easier to get started with as it abstracts away most of the complexities involved with interacting with Pinecone. It is also more widely documented and supported by the community. The gRPC SDK requires more setup and some understanding of gRPC, but it provides more control over the connection, error handling, and retries, and supports bi-directional streaming. If you're a developer using a language that doesn't have a Pinecone SDK, don't worry, you can still integrate with Pinecone. Pinecone has a collection of HTTP REST endpoints for both the control and data plane operations. If you wanted to communicate directly with Pinecone using your own HTTP REST client calls, this would work fine. Alternatively, if you need high performance, the gRPC protocol itself is widely supported across many programming languages, so you can use gRPC directly with Pinecone as well. So ultimately, if you wanted to integrate without an SDK, you could. This is a bit more work, as you would have to build up your own client integration layer, but the bottom line is you could integrate directly. In summary, the Classic SDK is best for ease of use, standard vector database interactions, and moderate workloads. gRPC is the best option for high performance, low latency applications that require efficient data streaming and handling of large volumes of vectors in real time. So now, you should have a good understanding of your options with Pinecone SDKs and native HTTPS, REST, or gRPC integrations if you should decide you want to go this approach. Ultimately, your system technology stack, your developer team experience, and your system performance requirements should drive how you integrate with Pinecone's cloud-based vector database environment. Okay, thanks for watching. This video, along with all my other videos in the Vector Databases playlist, are listed in the YouTube description. I invite you to watch other videos on my channel. If you like the way I'm sharing this content, please consider subscribing. When you subscribe, this really helps my channel grow. One last thing, we all love technology, and we're all excited about innovation with the cloud and machine learning AI. But don't forget to carve out some time to live in the real world. Go outside, go swimming, go hiking, go climbing, go surfing. Get out and move your body. And if you do, tell me in the comments. I want to hear about it. And with that, have a great day. Thank you.